How can we trust anything Xbox says now? Oh my goodness. Gaming journalists like Destin Legarie and Paul Tassi keep asking this question. Can anyone trust Xbox anymore? Oh my goodness, can we trust them? And at first, I'll be honest, I couldn't figure out why they keep framing it that way. But the more I watched this outrage over the weekend, the more it finally clicked for me. I think gaming journalists and large creators, they feel betrayed because they didn't have the inside scoop on what was happening at Xbox. So they feel betrayed. And now they're projecting their feelings of betrayal onto all of us as gamers. But here's the thing. I don't feel betrayed. I don't think 90% of Xbox gamers feel betrayed. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you why this is foolish thinking, why layoffs at Xbox shouldn't and don't matter to the average gamer, and how this is ultimately all noise, just noise. But before we jump into it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is Destin Legarie. We drop videos like this all the time right here. If you like this kind of next level thinking when it comes to Xbox and you don't want to follow the gaming journalists that feel betrayed, then make sure you subscribe to my weekly newsletter. We've got stuff like this I cover. I go into detail on stuff like this. A link is in the description below. Weekly newsletter, X1 the Gamer. Okay, let's jump into this. So here's the article from Paul Tassi, and there's been a lot of this. There's been videos. I'm just going to show you. Now, we're not going to read through this article, but I want to highlight one thing here that they keep on pointing to, and that is this. They go through like times that, things that Phil Spencer have said, and this is one thing that both Paul Tassi and Destin Legarie keep pointing to. Now, in this latest story, reports have emerged that Phil Spencer, quote, couldn't stop playing a new MMORPG codenamed Blackbird from ZeniMax Elder Scrolls Online team and was incredibly impressed with it. That was in March. And 3 months later, Blackbird was canceled this past week. In the same batch of cancellations, we have had Everwild, where after a recent visit to Rare, Spencer said, quote, it's nice to see the team with Everwild and the progress that they're making. It has been a while, and we've been able to give those teams time in what they're doing, which is good, and still have a portfolio like we have. That was in February. Everwild was also canceled last week. So they're using points like these and instances like this to say, how can we trust anything that Xbox says now? How dare they? Where's the cue the Greta Thunberg? How dare you? And I just think that this is illogical thinking. You can see over here on Destin Legarie's channel, we have how are you feeling about Xbox future now that most layoffs have... Sorry, I can't read. How are you feeling about Xbox's future now that we know how most of the layoffs will impact the brand? 52% say they're fine. 48% say this is going to be hard to recover from. I obviously voted in this. I'm part of the 52% that say everything will be fine. And here's the thing. 52 to 48, you're like, oh no, the community's split. No. His community split. That's the difference. I bet you if we were to run that exact same poll, in fact, we'll do a test, run that exact same poll on this channel, it's going to be 80% that things will be fine because it's audience capture, right? It's your audience preference. That's not audience bias. That's the word I was looking for. Xbox layoffs that announce tough decisions needed for success. Do you still think Xbox will bounce back from this? 56% say yes, they will. And this is from a creator who is questioning whether or not we can trust Xbox. Here you can see his videos over the weekend. These are the thumbnails to his videos. Can anyone trust Xbox anymore? Is AI to blame for the Xbox layoffs? CEO loved it, canceled it anyways. And you could see gaming journalists and large creators have been obsessed with this all weekend. Meanwhile, gamers, at least like for instance in my Discord, in gamers that I'm playing with in my own personal life, I'm not thinking about this. I'm jumping in and playing games. I don't feel betrayed at all. And last but not least, here is this is actually his video. Can anyone trust Xbox anymore? Where he goes through Paul Tassi's article, and he actually talks about, again, this point that they're sticking on, that Phil Spencer said that this game was great, that he was looking forward to this game, like it was unlike anything he had ever seen. And they're pointing to that as, well, how can we trust anything that Xbox has to say anymore? So let's go through this point by point. Again, I think that they are projecting. I think they feel betrayed because they didn't have the inside scoop. That you're not going to convince me You're not going to convince me otherwise at this point, and that's just it. But let's talk about but X1. What about this betrayal? They did say that they liked this game, Blackbird, that then was canceled. That they loved it, like it was unlike anything that they had ever seen. Let's get the exact words here. Couldn't stop playing. He said he couldn't stop playing this codename Blackbird, and now that's not even a thing. And they laid off people there. And also Everwild in February said that it's nice to see some of the progress that they're making, and now that's not there making sense. So how can we trust them? Business decisions do not equate to lying or betrayal. So changing your plans isn't lying. It's running a business. This happens all the time in every area of business, in every genre of business, whether you're the CEO of Target, of Costco, of Disney. There are many projects happening, and sometimes projects get canceled. Sometimes projects change. But while those projects are happening, you go in and you as the CEO are hopeful about it. You as an executive praise the project. You hope it will succeed. That's what leadership is about. Circumstances change. And circumstances in gaming, I think, change really fast. So you have, things like budget cuts, talent loss, AI shifts, industry shifts, et cetera, et cetera. Phil Spencer being enthusiastic about a game in February doesn't make him dishonest because the business reality changed by July. That's not the case. Now, I suppose you could say, well, he knew that this was coming all along. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. You can make that argument, sure, but I just don't think that at all. So I don't think changing your plans is lying. I think every executive across any team in any industry does this. Yeah, this project is great. Here's something that we're working on. Oh, we canceled it. When you work on the HoloLens, when you work on whatever Facebook is working on, whatever tech industry is working on, a new tech item is being worked on, whatever new car is being worked on, or new feature in a car is being worked on, or new fill in the blank. Executives praise projects all the time, only to change those projects down the line, or only for those projects to never be released. That's just something that happens. That's the name of the game in the leadership business, to be perfectly frank. And I don't think that that's lying. And I think it's a little disingenuous for them to be claiming that this is lying and we can never trust them again. Point number 2 here for me is I think that customers should judge the products, not corporate HR. And gaming journalists over the weekend are flipping that in my mind. My console works. I gamed all weekend. My games are coming. I'm looking at the roadmap for Xbox, and I'm super excited. I'm excited about the Xbox handheld that's coming later this year. I'm excited about where Game Pass is going, the games that are dropping on Game Pass. I'm excited about the first-party studios that are creating games for Game Pass. Xbox hasn't betrayed me. Trust for your customers shouldn't mean, corporate HR is saying or doing one thing behind the scenes that has no effect on the product side at all for me at this point. So my Xbox still works. Game Pass is still delivering value. Games are still launching. That's what trust should mean. Trust should be on the product side, but journalists are treating trust on the corporate HR side. Why? Again, I think it's because of projection. I think they're projecting. They didn't have the inside scoop, so they feel betrayed. That genuinely, again, you're not going to convince me otherwise here. For the rest of us, it's all about the product. That's it. Is the product good? Is the product bringing us value? If it's continuing to do so, then that's where trust comes in. Then I trust Xbox, and I'm trusting that they're making the right decisions for the future of Xbox at this point. Now, if at any point this changes and we can look back and say, oof, that was the point that they made the wrong moves, and ever since then, my experience with Xbox has gone down. Fun fact, I doubt that's going to happen. Again, I think this is all betrayal. I think they're projecting their own feelings. I think creators, the social media bros, the gaming journalists, they feel out of the loop. And this isn't about customers getting ripped off because this doesn't affect us on the customer side at all. And that's what's so mind-boggling to me and why I couldn't figure out this talking point and this very personal feeling that is coming off from some gaming journalists of betrayal here. I think that they feel blindsided. They assume fans should feel betrayed too, but we don't. That's just the reality, guys. I don't. They want to be in the know, rather, and they weren't in the know. This blindsided them. As a result, they feel betrayed. That's not the same as the average customer being betrayed. That's not the same as gamers feeling betrayed. We feel betrayed when you lie to us about a game and then you drop a game that wasn't anything that you showed us in the trailer or in the gameplay reveal. That's how we feel betrayed. That hasn't happened here. The reality is, and we covered this when all of the layoff news came with Xbox, that the tech and gaming industry is shifting everywhere. This is not an Xbox only problem. It's a tech industry realignment. Layoffs are going to continue. There will probably be more layoffs, who knows, at Microsoft and Xbox. There's a number that's being conflated here too. They're saying 9,000 layoffs at Microsoft, and then they use that tons of cuts at Xbox. 9,000 layoffs weren't at Xbox. 9,000 layoffs were at Microsoft, and some of those were in Xbox. So just to clarify, that number is definitely being conflated there. Layoffs and canceled projects are happening anywhere, whether it's whether it's EA, Sony, Take-Two, Embracer. They're all cutting staff. Industry is correcting from a couple things. First and foremost, I think it's the pandemic boom. Second of all, it's a shifting industry. We are living through a shift in the entire gaming industry. How games are made, how games are created, how games are distributed, how you consume your game, where you consume your game, how you consume your game. That's all changing. And we're living through it. And I think it's an exciting time, actually. What's interesting is on Twitter posts and in comments, you are seeing pushback against these gaming journalists from people saying, hey guys, layoffs happen. Why the overreaction here? Layoffs happen all the time. Layoffs happen in my industry. Layoffs happened at my company. This is something that we've been dealing with for forever. Why the freak out here? Why the end of the world doom and gloom? And again, I think it's projection. I think it's all projection. So let me restate my thesis here for the final time. I think the reason that you're seeing articles like this, how can we trust anything Xbox says? I think the reason you're seeing this obsession from gaming journalists and this in a very personal way, that doesn't line up with us as gamers. And again, they pretend to represent us. They pretend to speak for us. And I just don't think this is reality. I think this is another case where their incentives are misaligned with our incentives, the average gamer here. Their incentive is, we need the inside scoop. Hey, I had no idea about this. I do feel betrayed here. Versus us as gamers, oh yeah, it's business as usual. This happens all the time in every industry. Does my Xbox work? It does. Did we get this sweet Game Pass drop? We did. I jumped in and played with my friends this weekend. All right, Helldivers is coming. Yes. And it's a completely disconnect. I think they pretend to talk to us, and I think that's becoming more and more obvious. This pretending to speak for gamers rather than actually speaking for gamers in 2025. And I think that gap is going to grow, honestly. I think that's where YouTube comes in. And nothing against Paul Tassi or Destin Legarie here. They're doing their jobs, but I do think, and I'm only using them as an example here. A lot of people, a lot of journalists in the space are saying the same thing. Again, I genuinely think it's projection here. I would love to know what you guys think, though. Has Xbox lost your trust? If it has, let me know why in the description below. Did them doing layoffs affect you in any way as a gamer? Let me know in the comments below. Should we judge Xbox as a service? Should we judge their product, or should we judge what they do at the corporate level and determine our satisfaction with their product based on things they do behind the scenes with corporate HR? Let me know. Let me know if you disagree with me. Let me know if you don't think it's projection at all. Let me know what am I missing here? Let me know if you do agree with me in the comments below. Again, my name is X1 the Gamer. We drop videos like this all the time. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.